Final Fantasy XIV's 5th expansion, Dawntrail, launches tomorrow. And I'm really excited to experience my 2nd expansion launch in this game. I sat down with the person that got me into the game in the first place to talk about a lot of the theories and crazy thoughts that I have surrounding the game with someone I would consider an expert at the game. We'll let the internet decide if they're actually an expert or if we're both just insane. Let's get into it. So, let's start here. You've played Final Fantasy XIV for, what, 10, 12 years now? Did you start in 1.0 or did you start in 2.0?
I started a little bit in 2.0, but not for very long. I came back during Stormblood.
So you completely missed Heavensward. I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I started playing like for real, Stormblood was out, current content.
What do you mean by for real? Like, because there's so many different variations of how this game works. And if you couldn't tell right now, I'm trying to introduce you to the crowd, even though they've seen you heard your voice at least in some of my clips and stuff on YouTube and on TikTok. But like, what do you mean for real? Because there's so many different variations of what Final Fantasy is to different players. Like, there's people who just craft, which is fucking insane to me, and run the market on it. But what is real playing in Final Fantasy XIV for you?
I guess to clarify, I bought A Realm Reborn, played it for all of about 10 minutes. Because at that time, the only experience I had with MMOs was World of Warcraft. And I was like, cool, this feels and plays nothing like WoW. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I couldn't figure it out in the first like 10 minutes. And I was like, I don't have the time to like jump into a commitment into another MMO at this time anyways. So I just kind of dropped it. And then flash forward to Stormblood's release. When I started playing that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I want to take the time to learn how this game works and play through all the story and get into raiding, play in the dungeons and stuff like that.
So let's take that a step back then. So you're an OG WoW refugee. You came from, like, what expansion was your last expansion in WoW?
I mean, that's hard to say because I quit WoW and then didn't play an MMO for a while and then picked up 14 when I was like, I think I can do another MMO again. Last expansion I played in WoW was, oh god, Cataclysm? I think I played a bit of Cataclysm when it launched. And then I played again for Legion.
Okay.
And I think that's literally it.
So it's funny that you bring up Legion. So Legion is actually when V and I met. We were playing. My guild was looking for a healer one night for our prog run of the first raid in Legion, and I was out fucking on a Thursday afternoon after work, going through Dalaran chat, just fucking screaming, "Hey, I need a healer for tonight. I need a healer for tonight." And V, who games with us in MMOs still in 14, was the one who answered, and we've been playing MMOs together forever. I mean, a lot of other games too, but MMOs in general.
Wait, there was still Dalaran chat in Legion?
Yeah, Legion was Dal chat. Like, they brought back the city of Dalaran for Legion.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember that. I remember Dalaran chat from like Lich King days. And so I was like, that's still the main hub for like 3 expansions? Okay, no. All right, they brought it back. All right.
I miss Lich King days. Those were my glory days in World of Warcraft. But we're not talking about World of Warcraft anymore. We're talking about 14. So you came back in Stormblood, and what was the thing that got you in on 14?
Huge Final Fantasy fan. Just enjoy the games in general. And honestly, I just knew that they had an MMO that I'd touched before, and I was like, I want to give it a shot. And I kind of just jumped into it.
Kind of just jumped into an MMO. So did you play anything else like Star Wars: The Old Republic or any of the other MMOs?
Yeah. I played a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, and so none of the others really spoke to you in a way that WoW or Final Fantasy XIV did.
So Star Wars: The Old Republic kind of did ish, but mainly it. My main draw to Star Wars: The Old Republic was A, being a huge Star Wars fan, and B, being a huge BioWare fan. So I was like, cool, BioWare Star Wars storytelling, excellent. Like the MMO part was just a side thing for Old Republic that I didn't really participate much in. Like I don't think I did a single raid in Star Wars: The Old Republic.
How's that BioWare storytelling and gameplay going for you now?
I will always look fondly on
At your time
the
in,
games that I've played them,
that makes a lot of sense.
and
Yeah.
fingers crossed for Veilguard.
Yeah, I was never a huge BioWare fan. I played all the Mass Effect games. I've played Dragon Age Origin and uh Inquisition. I skipped 2. I literally have a physical DVD PC copy of Dragon Age 2 sitting over on my shelf, but never installed it, never done anything with it. It's still got a good real key with it. But SWOTOR was my first real experience in how BioWare games are played or made or how that whole all works. And I loved it. And I loved going back to it a few times. It was one of those games where every time I was playing it, I wanted to be playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And what's
I mean,
funny for me,
it was a WoW clone.
yeah, it kind of was, except the combat felt way fucking worse. But what's funny to me is that 14 never gave me that experience. I figured it was all MMOs, but I think it leads more to your point about it being a WoW clone, where it was because it was so close and just did not hit the mark for World of Warcraft that I wanted to go back to it. Where 14 is vastly different.
Like the whole, I mean, getting used to just like the 2.5 or no, whatever, 2.5 second GCD and weaving OGCDs is like, I don't remember that really being a thing. WoW, it's much
WoW has a
faster, right?
1 second
Yeah,
GCD with OGCDs, but
yeah,
it's no like I don't think I don't like rotation drifting or any of that because it's not really a rotation. It's like it's more of a priority in
yeah.
WoW. And just the gameplay and everything in general was just so different. And I don't know how I feel about 14 still, even in certain aspects. I love the game, don't get me wrong. Have a lot of fun in it, but there's always something that pushes me back to World of Warcraft. I haven't played it since after Dragonflight's launch, which was a year or two ago at this point. And the new expansion comes out in a couple months, right behind Final Fantasy expansion. So thinking I'm gonna go back, and this will be the time where I go back and say, cool, is this still something I'm interested in, or has my MMO completely gone to 14 at this point?
Yeah. And like, I think as Yoshi P has said multiple times, like, doesn't have to be one or the other.
Correct. Well, when you're paying $15 a month one way or the other,
Sure. Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm not exactly hurting for $15 a month. I've said it a million times. I've used MMOs to help me save money for different reasons because $15 a month for an entire entertainment budget is pretty fucking good for a
Pretty good.
month, right?
Yeah.
Getting yelled at by 14-year-olds that you're a bad DPS, not so much, but I digress. So I want to talk about 14 and kind of where Dawntrail leads us. This is my second expansion loss, or launch, excuse me, not loss. Well, there are losses, I guarantee it, but expansion launch. And this would be your third, fourth? Did you come back at the beginning of Stormblood?
No, it was like mid Stormblood. It's like
Okay.
third.
So you probably have a little bit more understanding and expectation about like what might happen.
Wait, no, I was there.
You were at the beginning of Stormblood?
I was at the beginning of Stormblood.
So you played End of Heavensward. Oh, so you lied to me for how long has it been? 10 minutes? You lied to me for 10 minutes?
I was thinking, I was like, yeah, no, I came in the middle of Stormblood, and then I was thinking, I was like, no, I was there for Raubon Extreme. So I was like, well, then I must have been there for Stormblood launch. Okay, I was there for Stormblood launch. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so this is your
I forgot. Sorry.
Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker. Now this is your fourth launch.
Yeah.
What are you seeing different this time around, if anything, compared to previous launches? I mean, Endwalker was, on the tail of Shadowbringers. It was the end of an era or an end of a realm that has already been reborn once, right? So how does Dawntrail's launch look different compared to that, even if it's just the hype?
I think, yeah, the hype. Everyone seems to be. I think everyone seems to be a little bit more cautiously optimistic. I think because we're all kind of in the dark, right? When it comes to like at least the story, like we don't know. We have the details that Square Enix has given us, but outside of that, we don't really. There's not a whole lot we can theorize. Like when we go into, and we'll probably talk about, like things like what might happen in the story. There's so many things we can speculate. But at the same time, when we were going into like Endwalker from Shadowbringers, for example, there were like all these story threads that we knew, and they had told us that this was going to try to like wrap up the whole saga of the last 10 years. So we could guess a lot of different things that were going to happen. Not how it was going to happen, but like Ascians are probably going to be involved in a big way, and like things like that, other shards. So that's definitely different. But there's also like a little bit of, and I think we may have talked about this during the Endwalker launch also, but there's a little bit of, and there's been discussions in the community of the stagnancy of, we know the whole release cycle for 14's expansions and patch content. Um, so the more launches you're a part of, not necessarily the less exciting it is, but the less surprises you kind of get, because you're like, okay, cool. I know they're going to release this stuff at this time and this stuff at this time, and I know we're going to get 6 new dungeons, and I know we're going to get raids in 2 weeks and that type of stuff.
So you've already kind of said that. Look, the setup is the same, right? We know the patch cycle. We know the exact number I regularly. We know the exact number of dungeons we're gonna get, of raids we're gonna get, of trials we're gonna get, of mounts we're gonna get from those trials in the extreme versions. That there's gonna be a capstone mount. Like, does this sameness bode well after the end of Endwalker? And again, we're assuming that Dawntrail is just going to be, I hate to say more of the same, because it's never more of the same, but it's going to be the same beaten path we've gone down over and over again at this point.
Personally, I think it's fine. I can see why some people may find it boring or the stagnancy isn't a good thing. But also at the same point as like, 34-year-old with a career and things in my life, it's nice to know that this game will always be able to like, cool, if I need to take a break, I know I have 3 months before the next story patch content. Worst case scenario, that'll take me so many hours. Like I like the consistency of it because it helps me plan around my life and other life responsibilities and other games, things that might come out.
So with that consistency, I will note that you and I both took a major break after 6.0. We both didn't really, I think I stayed around for the first couple of patches, like through Aglaya at the very least, but I didn't do like 6 point, what would that be? 6.2, 6.3 through 6.5 at all until I came back within the last like month and a half. And I burned through a lot of it. I mean, we ended up getting our variant dungeon mounts. I burned through all of it. I got decently geared. I got a couple relic weapons. Like, there felt like, it always feels like there's not enough time to play FF and cap out on everything you want, but you still always seem to have the ability to get everything done. Did that break help you, hinder you? Do you wish you had been around for it, or was it exactly what you needed at the time?
Probably what I needed to at the time. I mean, because we played so much of Shadowbringers, like,
Yeah.
and then I tried it, and then I ended up taking that momentum into Endwalker launch, and like I got the 2 like ultra rare fate mounts within the first like couple within the first like month or
Well,
2
you're a
of
fucking crazy person. We should
Endwalker.
explain on
Like,
top of it that you
yeah,
did that. You
like,
got all of your classes to 90. You got your crafters to 90. You got Those mounts.
Crafters and Gatherers was when I came back. So like
Oh, that
not
was
yeah,
recent. You didn't do that before, but you had
no,
all the combat classes done before you left. I know that for a fact because you rubbed it in my
no.
face before I left.
I had a lot that were like everything was like 85 or 87, higher than that.
Okay, all
I can
right.
say that much. But I just like burned myself out
Yeah,
and like
I think we both
other
did.
stuff, yeah, life things going on. I for what everyone has told me, it was probably a good thing that I was able to binge all of the post MSQ patch story. Because after playing through it all, I was like, cool, this isn't like as bad as I've heard a lot of people say it is. But because I was able to binge it, I would feel like it wasn't that bad. But I feel like if I had to wait
Yeah, I
6
feel
months for every tiny step of it, I'd be like, okay, I don't really care anymore.
exactly. I feel like the break that I took and coming back to uh coming back to the Zero story and everything that was going on there, the Golbez, the Final Fantasy, what was that, Final Fantasy 4 references, I was fine because I didn't play Final Fantasy 4 in the first place, and that's probably a whole other argument that you and I can have is what Final Fantasy games we've played and gone through all that, but seeing that after coming back and playing through the Zero content and the Golbez content, I agree. I had a much more a much better relationship than I was expecting to have based on the people who played it over time.
And like, I don't mind that we took, and that's again the nice thing about 14 is the fact that you can take a break for like a year after an expansion launch, come back, and you're not missing a whole lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff for you to do now, which is just better, was just more things for you to do. The only negative that I have about taking the year break that I did is that they kept coming out with new stuff for Island Sanctuary, to the fact that when I tried to look at Island Sanctuary for the first time, I was like, I don't understand. There's so much happening right now.
Yeah, the Island Sanctuary, I think I got to island rank like 11. I got the first motorcycle mount. And I said, "Cool. Never touch anything else." And then I came back and V had all of these mounts. He had another motorcycle. He had all these minions and shit. And I was like, "Fuck, man. I should have I was paying for Final Fantasy the entire time I was gone.
Same. Yeah.
I should have just logged in once a week
Yeah.
and checked on that shit and been done with it. But instead, I was playing so many other things and starting YouTube and doing things like this and going to concerts and taking videos. You've been in at least one of the vlogs, kind of running past on screen, but you've been there, so
Oh yeah.
we we have seen each other. We have touched grass together, in fact.
Touched
But
a lot.
we did touch a lot of grass. But with all of the Final Fantasy IV references, and you being a Final Fantasy nerd, self-proclaimed, as you said, do you see anything that in the trailers or in the content or anything that we've seen so far for Dawntrail, do you see anything that leads to past Final Fantasies that could give you an idea of where the story or the game might be going in the future?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
So,
Okay.
4 I've never played. It seems like there's going to be a lot of 9 references in Dawntrail,
So what
just
makes
given
you
the
say that?
pre-order stuff, given the pre-order bonuses.
Okay.
Um, I've played some of 9. I've never finished 9, but even though I've heard it's like the best one. So
I went on an absolute crackhead binge looking up what Final Fantasy IX was about. Because I never played Final Fantasy IX. But a lot of the things I found, I'm like, oh, that could be a thing. We'll probably get to my absolute, like, I have a page and a half doc sitting in front of me of all the notes that I took and like my crazy crackhead, tinfoil hat theories.
okay, but I do want to say that we can go into that, but also I do plan to play 9 at some point, and I don't want to be spoiled on 9
Shit.
story.
Okay.
Like, I would prefer not to be spoiled on 9 story.
So we can skip a couple of things, but I can the viewers who have played 9 will probably understand some of it, but I can skip around enough that we're not gonna spoil you.
No.
But I have a lot of theories, even just as a mostly Final Fantasy 14 player. I have played 16, I played 7, I played parts of the remakes of 7. It didn't really do it for me. Played 13, 10, 10-2, and parts of 12. I've never really been a huge, like, true to form JRPG fan. I like RPGs, I like Japanese games. You put them together and it's kind of sketchy for me. It doesn't quite work. But what I've seen in the trailer as a 14 player, I'm trying to think of how everything would fit in world, where the turns could be, and Yoshi P and the writing team are very, very good at hiding shit in plain sight. And
You've watched the launch trailer, right?
I've watched the launch trailer.
Okay.
Yes. They're very good at hiding shit in plain sight. And Yoshida has also said, when asked what content we should be doing to prepare, he mentioned a lot about the Alliance raid from Endwalker, from the current expansion. He said that was something that we should be doing, and then he said, are we sure we know the names of everybody who was on the Convocation of 14?
Oh, right.
As much as a lot of the internet thinks we're done with the Asians, I don't know that we are, but I think we're done with the group who calls themselves the Asians. I don't know that we're done with the Ancients specifically.
I would hope not, given the fact that it's like, I mean, it's such an integral part to the lore. Like, for them to just be like, cool, we're never going to mention the ancients again would be, I guess, possible.
I
but
mean
kind of
that they're coming back in a big way. Like they are
Oh.
still an integral part. I think the group, the majority of the Convocation we're done with. Like we've gone through a lot of them now. We've even seen their backstories. We've done the time raids. We've done all of this shit. I think we're done with like La Habrea, Elinibus, Emmett Selk. Like they're done. And we know that everybody else was sundered, probably. But I have a very, very strong feeling that in some way, shape, or form, that head girl in the trailer, the girl at the end who's like, if you are so damn strong, you know, could you have done anything better than we did? He is an ancient or an Allegan or some like semi-sundered or some shit. That whole Solution 9 is far future tech. It is not something that is created in our time, right? It could be like an ancient civilization that was left with way more time to expand and develop and do things. It could be fucking aliens. I don't know, but it's something, and I have a feeling that it's some wibbly wobbly timey wimey bullshit.
That could be very possible. I also my theory with that, with the like Solution 9 stuff, is because like, and this could have been red herring, but it seems like there's like a portal there in the launch trailer, like from like Tuliol, or not Tuliol, but the continent.
Taral.
Where I'm like, maybe the ancient, because they're like the golden city, so like those ancient people of Taral found a way to traverse shards before we did, because a lot of people guess that Solution 9 stuff is like the one of the other shards, a lightning shard of some sort.
So I have a theory on that as well. I have so many branching theories to go with it, but I like where you're going with the lightning shard, because they show a lot of storms, a lot of big lightning energy shit, something that looks like a lightning collector that they keep alluding to not existing, which is kind of cool. But I keep leaning back to, these are people of the first, or not the first. They are people of the source. Because I think this has something to do with, I think it was the second or the fourth Calamity, the Lightning Calamity, right?
Mhm.
And I know you have don't you have a copy of Encyclopedia Eorzea?
I do.
Okay, I don't expect you to go grab it. Don't worry about it. But they talk about the Lightning Calamity, and they say that people had to go live underground, like flat out. That's what they did to hide from the lightning that would boil the lakes and destroy mountains and shit. I get the feeling that the Golden City is underground in some way, and it could be, you know, just how everything looks, where it's dark around the portal, right? And every shot that they've shown. But I think it's got big lightning energy, and we could go one of two ways. Either A, this could be, you know, a people that was somehow teleported here with the rejoining of the lightning world, assuming that it has been rejoined so far, or that it is a portal to that shard. Which, if we spend the next, like, I think it's like 5 or 4 shards that are left that haven't been rejoined, if we spend the next like 4 expansions just going to clean up after the Ascians bullshit again, I'm kind of okay with that. I'd like to see. Everybody loved Shadowbringers, and it was, we are the warrior of darkness now. So what? Are we gonna be the warrior of fucking metal?
Water.
And we're gonna exactly. Are we gonna go and be on the lightning planet, and then we're gonna go to the fire one, and we're gonna be on the water, like the warrior of water, and it's gonna be us in our, you know, 8 parts of ourself that are scattered around wherever.
And then it'll just be the Shadowbringers trailer again, but just with a different shade of, it'll be blue instead of like darkness and purple,
you know what?
stuff like, and they'll just recolor that. Yeah.
Put the Dark Knight back in power. Make him the class that everybody wants to be again. I'm fine with that.
Water Knight. Water Knight is the next class.
The Water Knight, yeah.
Water Knight confirmed 8.0. Yeah.
Please do not give me a water-based tank. I don't fucking want that. Unless I can make ice shields. Hold on, wait a minute, Yoshida. I need you to listen real close.
Yeah, I'm like Frost.
Give me a Frost tank.
Water.
I'll play that game.
Yeah.
I think kind of going off on a tangent, right? Because I think that all of that is going to be the back end of the expansion. That's gonna be the last zone. We're gonna get into the last city.
Nope. I almost guarantee you it's not.
You don't think it's the back end of the expansion?
They never show the last stuff. In all the stuff leading up to Endwalker, we never saw anything about Ultima Thule. Everything leading up to Shadowbringers, we never saw anything relating to like Amarat and like the depths, the last underwater zone.
I'm gonna back you up a little bit. Oh no, I guess so. The depths and everything, that is a separate zone. I was gonna say, isn't that just like an offshoot of whatever the zone is next to it, Lakeland? But no, it's not. Like you start there to get down there, but it's a completely separate. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you think it's earlier?
I think it's gonna be something of. I think we're gonna get surprised in the same way we got surprised that Zodiac was the 83 trial. I think we're gonna get surprised and be like, "Oh wow, this is actually pretty early," and there's gonna be like a lot of back and forth until leading up to some secret.
Okay, what if the so, God damn it!
I could be wrong, but that's my guess.
No, because now you're giving me thoughts. So there was some jokes and rumors going around that all of the cowboy zone, you know, I was talking about the western zone, that's a red herring, and that's actually the end zone, because we go through the portal and it's a portal to the Matrix, and we're playing Sword Art Online. Like it's a fucking isekai and an isekai.
Portal to Westworld?
Basically, yeah. Like we're going through this portal, and then we end up in the Matrix, and it becomes an old West video game from now till the end of time. Like that was a big joke, but I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck, what could they be red herringing us with at this point? Like, because they've shown us like the zone everybody wants to see. That's the zone everybody has questions about. That's what we keep seeing as like the big enemy, people fighting in Tulialal. What goes after that?
Yeah, I mean, with Terral and Solution 9, I think those are going to be. Well, I guess we technically already know, because, again, and they could throw us a curveball,
Uh-huh.
but, and this isn't a fun speculation, this is how they've always done it, a speculation of like,
Okay.
because if you think about it, when Endwalker launched, right, we have Old Charlian, which is the first main hub town.
Mhm.
Razat Han is the second hub town. Razat Han, you get access to like actually do stuff in like what, like 85, level 85-ish.
Yeah, because the only reason I know that is the half of the main zone that Razat attached to is like the fates there start at 85. So like the front end stuff
Right.
is 81 because you go there to start shit, and then you leave, and then you come back and you do the back half of the zone, and then you go into Razat.
Right. So most like, and we know Solution 9 is the other uh hub city.
Mm-hmm.
So most likely we are going to end up in Solution 9 at around mid MSQ.
There's a
Which
part of
leaves
me
a
that
lot to
makes them like, okay, you finish your opus, right? You finish Endwalker. Everybody knows the formula that's been playing for the last 10 plus years. Maybe they just do something completely different.
I mean, that'd be great. I mean, and no, you're wrong. Like, cool if they throw a curveball in it.
Right,
Awesome.
absolutely.
But that just based on historical, that is my assumption of
No,
what's
and
happening.
that's completely understandable because, like, you know, fuck, we're gonna talk about WoW again for a second. So WoW kind of tells you everything up front. There's some secrets, there's some spoilers, there's some story shit that they hide, but the vast majority of the game, you know what's happening the moment you set foot in that expansion. Final Fantasy XIV holds so much close to the chest that I get scared every time I spend money on a new expansion. Like, I played in 2020 is when I started playing Final Fantasy XIV, and we started during the pandemic. It was August of 2020. I know this exactly. And played through ARR. Hated the 2.x content, right? Got to Heaven's Word and actually fell in love with the game. Broke my heart a few times. Got to Stormblood, didn't really give a shit, played through it, had my fun. The dungeons were fun. But Shadowbringers was like, okay, we're back, boys. And Endwalker, right about the start of Endwalker, it was, oh, like we've seen a lot of this play out before in this same way. The .x content always breaks up some of the monotony because, like, it's a lot of the same, but it's a lot of the same of the expansion, where the expansions feel like I said before, it's like they're on railroad tracks. They are plot for plot, or not plot for plot, but like you were kind of alluding to, like, oh, by 85, we're gonna be in the second city. And we knew that from Yulemore. We knew that from Razat Han. Like that, it just kind of happened. We might not be doing a whole lot in those cities, but we are there.
Yeah.
Fuck, you may have just pissed me off, actually. Because if we do Solution 9 by 85, and we don't see the last zone.
Also, to know, I forgot, Endwalker, technically they hid 2 zones from us, because they also hid Elpis from us. Obviously, because that would have been a huge spoiler for everyone.
But don't. Okay, no. See,
But
now
we didn't
you're
know about 2 whole zones.
now you're starting shit. Hold on. We're gonna pull up today's preliminary patch notes.
Yeah. 2
Patch
cities.
7.0 preliminary.
1, 2, 3, 4. They showed 5 zones. Which, man, I wish I could log in.
Yeah, right? So for those sitting at home, we're recording this during the 48-hour maintenance.
Yeah. Okay. Endwalker. Labyrinthos, Thavnair.
Garlemald,
Oh yeah, Garlemald.
the Moon,
The Moon,
Elpis,
Elpis,
and
Ultima Thule.
yeah, 7 zones.
7 zones. So there's so this also has 2 zones that they have not shown us.
Okay,
Likely,
now I want you
think.
to now I want you to really big brain it. How many zones were in Shadowbringers?
Lakeland, Ilmeg.
Underwater,
Yeah, underwater.
the forest area.
Amarang, Raktika.
Which one is Yilmore in? Is it Amarang?
Oh yeah. No, that's another one. That's 6. Kalusia.
So was there only 6 zones?
I think so.
Because if I remember correctly, there was 6.
6 zones. 6 zones, 2 cities.
Okay, and then we got 7 zones, 2 cities in Endwalker.
Yeah.
And in Stormblood, we got 3, 6. Fuck. I feel like there was a lot more zones.
6, I think.
The Ruby Sea, is that 1 zone or is that 2?
Ruby Sea is 1. Wait. Yeah, Ruby Sea, Yanxia, where the
Yeah.
Asm Step,
Eh.
and then like 3 Alamigo zones that all blend together.
Yes. Okay. The 3 Alamigo zones are the 3 that I was like, I didn't even think of their names. I'm just like, it's 3 there.
Yeah.
And then it's Ruby Sea but we got 2 cities for that too. It was
It's always 2 cities.
well, yes. But they started doing a fun thing in Stormblood. They had the 2 cities, but then they also had kind of a 3rd city with the Doman Enclave. Kind
like
of,
a
sort
side
of.
plot thing.
Yeah, but
there's no market board. There's no like.
Way to spoil
like,
that for me. I haven't finished yet. Thank you.
Sam, finish your Doman Enclave.
I'm working on it, man. I really am. I go
Lord
every
Hia's
week
just like,
now.
we're still suffering.
I go every week and I work on it now.
God.
But the Doman Enclave, and that was also the first like the outdoor zone thingy, right? The Eureka. That was Stormblood.
Eureka was Stormblood, yeah.
So
yeah,
I guess what I'm going for is like Shadowbringers had a lot of cut content. Not cut content, things they wanted to do that they had to back out on.
Yeah. Reprioritized.
Because of the plague that hit the world of Eorzea, aka the plague that hit the world of the world. And Endwalker felt like in a lot of ways they were trying to make up for that lost time, but not necessarily by overdoing it, right? Like we got Boja at the end of Shadowbringers, and that was a big zone on its own and did all that stuff.
That was a multi-patch. That was 2 whole zones, at least 2 whole zones.
Well, wasn't whatchamacallit
with all the relic weapons.
Wasn't
yeah, Eureka's like 4.
4 exactly, but they had to cut it down. But they gave the players something.
Yeah,
and then we get to Endwalker, and they give us the ultimates, right? They gave us in Endwalker DSR and top.
We've had ultimates before though.
Right, but they didn't promise that they were going to do it for Shadowbringers and then didn't, so they gave us 2.
That's right. I think that's right.
Like, it's completely possible that we just go back to 6 zones because of how big, right? And that would still mean that they're hiding 1 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that you think they're hiding one blows my mind because of, honestly, because of the images we see for Heritage Found.
Yeah, like what else could it be?
Yeah. But I mean, that's the same question we were asking for Endwalker, to your point. We saw Elpis and we said, oh, fuck. And then we saw Ultima Thule and we're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, nobody had any idea what the story with Medion was going to be.
Yeah. And
Or
there's
how
no
much
way
it tied into people. Like,
I anyone who would have guessed before Endwalker came out that we were going to talk to Elidibus and travel back in time to the time of the ancients and hang out with Emmett, Selk, and Vana is crazy.
but
Anyone who would have guessed that is crazy.
but here's my point, all right? You have given me my point, but on a technicality, you're going to call me crazy. The girl at the top of the fucking
Yeah.
key art, right? That was Vana's spot in Endwalker. Ancient,
Ooh, that's not.
but friend or foe.
That's a good point. But also,
Don't you do this to me, you son
where's
of a
the key
bitch.
art? I gotta find the key art.
It's bright orange. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, are you looking at the fucking patch notes? It's literally at the top.
I need I want like a bigger one. That's what I mean. Like I'm like,
Oh, just
that's
Google
very
it.
small. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Notice the white garb compared to all the other dark. You want to really trip balls? I know we're part of Asm, but what if that's Asm? Like more of Asm, with Asm's memories, like an Asian.
Well, I can't. The fact that we are Asm means that Asm was sundered.
Sure, but so were all of the other. Okay, the Asians themselves were the Unsundered, right? Those three were the Unsundered. But they have brought back other versions of Sundered versions of the rest of the 14.
With the use of those crystals, which we have Asm's crystal.
Shit. Well, see,
And
that's what I get for
if
skipping
Lodius
cutscenes.
gave it to us, unless it like Elidibus had like dropped it, then I'd be like, okay, maybe before he did like awaken some Asm, but yeah.
But that's the thing about the time shit that I'm talking about. She was awakened forever the fuck ago.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say no.
This
I'm gonna
entire
say
video
no.
is speculation. You can
Yeah.
tell me no and that
Yeah,
I'm an idiot all day long. I don't fucking care. I'm just gonna keep throwing musings out until I want to look back at this video. And that's kind of what the point is. I never told you what the point was. I want to look back at this video in a fucking week and say, dude, we were fucking wildly off, or holy shit, I called it.
The girl is actually Thancred's mom. I think that's the true mystery. The Enigmatic Maiden is Thancred's mom. I'm calling it now.
You know, I had a theory on who she could be. That was not it. That was completely wrong. And the Asm thing literally just came to me. It was bullshit.
Yeah. Or Oriange's mom. She's someone's mom. Let's go with that.
Well, we know how Oriange.
You know, yeah.
Okay. Well.
Wait. We know how Oriange
likes old women.
Oh, sure.
Rest in peace, Moonbrita.
She wasn't that. They were the same age.
Yeah, but aren't they Elizin? Aren't they fucking like ancient? Don't elves live forever? Elizin live forever?
Yeah, but he's also old. So that they'd say, well, also no. No. I don't know if that's we met Moonbrita's parents.
Shit, you're right. Okay. All right.
So
all right.
yeah,
all right.
I was like, wait, I don't think that makes I don't think so.
I'm just trying to throw darts at a board to see what I can get you to react to at this point.
Oh yeah, and she's a Rogadin. She's not an Elizin.
Yeah, she is a Rogadin.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's look at the crazy. Oh, I think the entire thing with the Dawn Servant, right? And we're gonna get back to old girl in a second here, but I think the entire thing with the Dawn Servant, they're very pointed that there are 3 teams made up of our friends, and there is one guy who is not anything to do with our friends. And I think one of the 4 turns out to be a traitor, and is what opens up the passage to whatever the fuck Solution 9 or the City of Gold is.
I mean, I feel like it's like that Koana, the cat dude.
I don't think he's the traitor. I think he's a piece of shit. I think there's something going on with him. I don't think he's the traitor. I think so. We've seen the Tron mask people, right? The
Oh yeah.
we've seen them fighting civilians in Tulialal. My called shot is old buddy, the traitor, the general, I think is what he is. He's like a general of like the armies of Tulialal, and he's like working on his way to become the Dawn Servant in place of one of the children. I think he's a traitor. I think he tries to make a deal with Solution 9 or, you know, whoever these Magitech is what I'm going to call it. These Magitech people are, and they lay siege to the city, and we have to fight them off. And then we fight them off so good that we go back to their city and we say, this is mine now. Thank you very much.
And then that's the new lifestyle content. We this is our new island sanctuary.
Yeah, we
the hub city.
we fucking planet hop to continue to conquer now that we have all their technology. That was the other thing. I kind of mentioned that I think that they're ancients or something. I also have a feeling that they could be like an offshoot of Alligans.
It we gotta... could be. I have a feeling it's going to. Well, this I'm pretty confident on. I feel like this is gonna have to do something with Kryle's granddad. Or
I've got
grandparents.
You get it. All right, continue. I want to hear your point.
Well, because they keep bringing it up, like in all like the things on the site. It's like
her granddad,
uncover
right?
the truth of her granddad has a connection with Kryle's granddad, and like the last time I feel like we heard about Kryle's family was when Krile found Eureka.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember what Eureka was? Like actual Eureka?
No.
It was a piece of technology that was hidden away by the Alligans.
There you go.
I think Solution 9 is another thing that was hidden away by the Alligans, or was because that all ties back to the same Calamity. Or no, that's the Earth Calamity, is the fourth, I believe. But, you know, if it's a city underground and it was the Earth Calamity, you're picking up like the gateway is underground. I'm just shouting words at you at this point, but I think that there's a lot of ties to Baldessian, and the Sons of Saint, the dudes in Mordona, Sons of Saint Coinarch.
Oh yeah. That's
I think they and the Baldessians and all of this shit is going to play into this, and I think it all ties back to the fucking Alligans, who all tie back to the fucking ancients. Called shot. See, that's my through line. That is the only thing that I can fucking live by, is that Baldessian is part of this, and we're going right through.
I don't know how I thought. I don't know why my brain went here, but I just had a weird thought.
What do you got?
I could be off on this because this could be dumb, but I just realized I was like, because the more we're talking about like Baldessian and Sons of Saint Coinarch and all that sort of stuff, I was thinking of like, okay, the Alliance raids from Endwalker that Yoshi P said that we should play.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of people. There was that really fun NPC. Forgot already what she looks like or sounds like, but
wasn't she the tall one, the Elizin?
Yeah.
Was she an Elizin or a bunny girl? One of the two.
Or a row. I can't remember.
She might have been a row. Who fucking knows?
She was fun. I liked her. Yeah. She was great. I'm like, well, she'll maybe come back. That'd be cool to see. But then I was thinking, I was like, wait, it's the 12, which were like created. What was the story again? The 12. They were created by Heidelin.
Holy shit! Hold on. Are
The
you?
convocation?
Yeah. So they were. So they're the 14, right? Were the 13 plus. Was it La Habrea or Litibus that became Zodiark?
Yeah.
Right. So they were the group that was around Zodiark, and the 12 was the group that was around Hydaelyn. But if we're going bar for bar, we're missing one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, is it that maiden lady then?
Fuck.
Because if the myths of the realm is important, and because she kind of has that same similar art style to like those big gods.
And she's in the Nas spot. How did I miss it? Fuck me. This is the shit that I was like digging through to find answers and like.
Oh wait, we could be wrong.
What do you mean? Because there was 13. It was the convocation of 14. It was 13 members, and whoever became Zodiark was the 14th.
Elidibus. The
Olympus.
13th unnamed deity is only described as the last line. Oh wait, it's described in the last line of the monument in the story. He is the Watcher. Never mind. This is all wrong.
Oh, the
This is all wrong.
Watcher.
Just wasting
Fuck.
time.
We are dumb
Yeah.
as shit.
Yeah. I was like, this seems too easy. I think we're missing so.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, the I can't wait for the kids at home to be screaming at us. You fucking morons, it's the Watcher this entire time while they're talking about it.
Oops.
Yeah, our bad. But okay. Fuck. Oh,
I have
okay. So
no idea.
this is my meth head point about the Krile stuff real quick.
Mhm,
While
mhm.
you're still thinking. So Krile will be a huge part of this for the story. There's a relation to her grandfather, and I don't think we're done with the ancients, but are mostly done with the Ascians, the convocation of 14, like I've said before. There are a couple that still, according to lore, from what I've looked up, were never locked away or killed properly. Now, there are some masks that Gaius has. Was it Gaius or Nero? It was Gaius, right? Had the masks.
Gaius. Yeah.
So there are some masks that Gaius has for ones we haven't seen yet or heard about, but that doesn't mean they're dead. That just means that like that version of them is dead.
Huh. Yeah, I don't.
So there's still like 2 or 3 of the actual like convocation of 14 that we've never dealt with. They weren't locked away in Orsite. They weren't dealt with in a different way. Nothing.
Well, I guess, yeah, I guess we can't, because we can't really. All that we're told that I can remember, unless there's some piece of side dialogue that I missed or can't remember. But all I remember is that Gaius said that he took care of them. But like, where did he? Yeah, it's not easy to kill to
Well, and
permanently
that's
kill
the
an
other thing.
Ascian. We need the Orosite. We need
But
Thornton with his dragon eyes.
Gaius can't use fucking magic.
I mean, white Orosite, I don't think you need magic.
I thought the whole point of White Orsite was you had to dump ether into it to make it work. Isn't that
Oh,
how Moonbreeder got? Wasn't that part of that situation?
yes.
So he couldn't fucking like really put them away ever. They just float back out into the ether sea and then do what they do and then maybe come back. So
There could be other Ascians out there.
yeah, there could be. So I don't think we're done with them because they weren't locked away in Orsite or done anything like that, right? They still could be body swapping, or they could have other sundered versions of themselves out there that they could slip into at any time, which is what Athena was trying to do with her son, who was sundered, and we found the new version of him on the first, who was the doctor at the end of 12. The end of fuck. Pandemonium 12, P12. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, because they've proven that it was her child, so it shared genes essentially, so she could use him as a
Vessel.
shell, as a vessel.
Yeah.
There could be so many vessels available for the Asians out there through bloodline.
I think it could be very interesting because there's an element of, I think what they've tried to imply and show is that like obviously the Asians and the Asians are not like inherently just straight evil. They have their own motivations for doing what they're doing. But now that Zodiark is gone,
Mm-hmm.
and that, well, I guess like what would, if there are remaining Asians out there, what do they want and what are they trying to do?
What did Fandaniel want?
I mean, he wanted chaos.
Exactly. They can want whatever the fuck they want and do
Well, that's what I
whatever
mean.
they
Like,
want.
that will be interesting to find out if they are
Right.
out there.
I had another theory about who that woman is. And to go back to it, I think that there's a possibility that she's a Mariloth, which is one of the 14. Who we last saw at the end of Eureka, but was also taken care of, not actually like that we know of 100% killed.
Or is it
Yes.
Urianger's mom?
Or is it Urianger's mom? Or so we had the Sundering, right? We had Zodiark, we had Hydaelyn. They all had sacrifices to make them who they were.
Mm-hmm.
Did they kill the entire population in a sacrifice for those two? Or were there more left?
No.
There were more ancients.
Yeah, but they got sundered.
Correct. I don't want them to keep doing this loophole, but I think there's a possibility for them to keep doing this loophole of, oh, here's a new group that didn't get sundered, and here's how they did it. I fear that. I don't want that.
I mean, they haven't.
They've done it for 2 groups so far. They've done it for what, 14 and 14 is 28 people. They've shown that 28 Asians or ancients were able to not get sundered. 27. We are one that got sundered.
20. Wait, what? No.
My math is wrong. 28 people were involved in the 2 creation. I'm sorry. But there was 4 unsundered. Emet-Selch,
3.
Elidibus, and La Habrea.
Yeah, there's only 3 unsundered.
Could there be more?
Potentially.
Not
I
evil
guess,
necessarily, not Asian necessarily, but could there be more ancients?
I guess it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility. Because I also don't think we're ever given a clear, like, explanation on
Of
like
how any of them
those
survived.
3 didn't get sundered.
So that's kind of my next part and why I think that she might be ancient related. Emet-Selch wasn't sundered, but then he founded Garlemald, and he founded didn't he found Yulmore or like was part of that kingdom?
No, I mean he kind of like influenced it.
That's right, he influenced it, but he actually founded Garlemald. Like that was all him.
Yeah.
As an ancient. Surviving and creating and like pushing people.
Oh, sure. Oh, I see where you're going with this.
So could this woman be another survivor who just happened to do it differently over on a different part of the fucking sundered world that she survived on?
Here's the thing. I feel like that's possible and I like that idea, but I also feel like
because you got to think this could lead into your theory too of us shard hopping, because Emet-Selch was able to shard hop and survive and found a civilization. Who's to say she didn't? I know everybody wants Emet-Selch to be gay with Hythlodaeus, but like Emet-Selch's wife. Let's play this game.
Or Emma Salk's mom.
You are so horny for moms, dude.
La Habrea's mom, actually.
No. Hephaestus's. Wait, hold on. Yeah, who you got next? What name are you gonna drop?
Fandaniel's mom.
But I guess my question, the question that I still have, right? If we assume that any of what we've talked about so far is true, who are the two Lalafell running into the port?
I am straight up assuming that those are Kral's grandparents.
I would go a step closer and I would say parents.
I guess we don't know. The visual effects, like filter over that image, is very reminiscent of the Echo. I think it is likely grandparents. Just given the fact that there's so much about her grandparents. I guess we don't know what happened to her parents.
Right, but nobody else. And the thing about her grandparents is her grandfather's he's a here. Baldessian is a here, or higher, or however you say it, like a human. Haven't we seen him? Not his face necessarily, but we've seen him in Eureka, haven't we?
I don't remember. Galif Baldessian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a here.
Oh. Maybe her parents then. My bad. I forgot about this. Man, I don't remember anything about
I didn't even fucking do Eureka, and I just fell through the rabbit hole to find this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they talk about him in ARR. He's in Stormblood for like minutes when they're talking about Eureka. And then Krile finds the letter sent by Wukalamat's dad, the king or the current Dawn servant, to Baldessian, to Galuf Baldessian, like, hey, let's go find the City of Gold. So somebody's got a key or knows something, and it's going to be Gulul Jaja, Wukalamat's dad. He knows something.
Well, there could be a twist in that because they do I'm looking at like the wiki right now. They do explicitly say that, and obviously Gulul Jaja is very important.
Oh, right, of course.
So this could mean nothing, but Wukalamat says that he did not write that letter, but it is like his signature on it. So like maybe it wasn't him that asked for Galup's help. Then someone tricked him. Who knows?
So there's some interesting things about Tuliolal and Gulul Jaja. I know that he has 2 titles, one for each of his heads, and we haven't seen what the other head looks like. It is veiled in every image.
Yeah, it's Emmett Salk. I think everyone agreed that it's Emmett Salk underneath there.
The amount of money I would pay for Emmett Salk to be ruling another.
He influences big empires and civilizations. It's Emmett Salk.
But we there's a lot we don't know about him, right? Of Galul Jaja. And there's something going on there. I don't know what the problem is, why they're looking for. I mean, like, are we sure they're actively looking for another Dawn servant? Or is this something he's just like, oh yeah, let's figure out who's gonna be my successor, and just throws all of these people into chaos for, at the wave of his hand.
Yeah. I guess we don't have the details of like why. Oh man, it's been so long now. I feel like since I've done this. I don't remember if we're told why this contest is happening. Yeah. If something like bad is happening, or if he's old, or if just like every 10 years they have a contest.
Right. I'm like, we were talking about the wiki. I have the wiki of Wukalamat here, where I'm like, okay, what is your point? Like, why are you a thing?
She came to Charlene to get our help, right?
Yes. Well, yes, because Arenville told her about us.
Mm-hmm.
For 80 years, Tulia Lal has been living in undisturbed peace, but her father was getting old and he had decided to surrender the throne to someone to carry his legacy.
Cool.
You want to hear another crackhead theory that I didn't have this one. I heard this one. There's a reason that the title of the ruler of Tulia Lal is the Dawn Servant. And it's because they are a figurehead and Solution 9 is the actual like rulers of the continent.
Or the Enigmatic Maiden is.
Right, yes.
It could be like a Razat Han situation. Where Vritra was like
Very much so.
actually the ruler, but hidden behind the dude that died. That guy.
Yep, that one dude.
Yeah, that one guy that got eaten. That
Yep.
Alra that got eaten. Yeah.
Rest in peace, my brother Alra. Rest in peace. Oh, I was gonna say your brother too, but you are a bunny for the last
Arenville
expansion.
is my brother now.
I don't know how I feel about that. Speaking of bunnies, did I tell you that the random rabbits that we have in Chicago that keep coming back every year? My roommate and I have named them Arenville and what's her name from the first? The one that helps the Grahatia? I can never remember her fucking name. Lena. So the two rabbits that we see in my backyard all the time are Lena and Arenville.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's adorable. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about with Dawntrail or the classes or anything? Because we've gone on for a little over an hour with just story and our introductions at this point, but I'm kind of curious on what you think about the classes.
Classes,
the two new classes that are coming.
Oh, the two new classes,
yes.
Not class changes.
Yes.
I think, and this may be unpopular, I think Viper looks very boring.
I kind of agree.
And here's the thing. In no way am I saying that I can make a better game or do anything, and I understand making games and making new classes takes a lot of time. But Viper is just very close to a copy of Reaper.
Which is very close to a copy of Samurai-ish.
No, I will say that is unique. Reaper is unique for the most part in its gameplay loop.
Even compared to Samurai and Dragoon?
I think Reaper is closer to like Machinist than Samurai or Dragoon.
Okay, all right.
But it's very Viper is basically just Reaper, but faster, roguelike.
Roguelike.
Not a roguelike.
No, please. It's gonna make me restart every time I die.
Oh no! Every time you mess up your rotation, you have to start.
Yep.
Well, I guess you have to start from scratch. Anyway, so yeah, you start at level 1. You go back to level 80, and you have to re-level if you mess up your rotation.
That sounds awful.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
So you're leading to be a Picto boy, is what I'm hearing.
I'm definitely gonna play Pictomancer because I find it more interesting.
You and I both, but I have a few fears about Pictomancer and Viper. I think that Viper is overall going to be the easier class, and Picto is going to be. I have said since we first saw the first images of Pictomancer that Pictomancer is going to be Astrologian but DPS. Like, it's going to be complicated. There's going to be like different things going on and like subsystems and shit. And Viper is just like Ninja, Samurai, Reaper, Dragoon, but like even more simplified. And that makes me fucking nervous because I've seen a lot of absolutely bad melee DPS players And the last time that we had a rework to I'm gonna go rework because we haven't had a new caster in a while, right? But a rework to a caster was Summoner, and it was everybody was like, "Oh, it's so easy," and then we got a shit ton of summoners who still had no idea what the fuck they were doing. So, like, my fear is
Doing
people
it's
are.
kind of hard not to know what to do.
I'm talking
There's
early on in Endwalker,
optimizations.
early
Sure,
on
sure,
in Endwalker, and this is
sure.
gonna be early on for both of them. But I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to jump on Picto and be like, "Oh, this is gonna be my main. This is the cute class with the little paintbrush and the bullshit and blah blah blah, and this is gonna be great." And they're all gonna be god awful, and then they're gonna bounce off the class, and then it's gonna be in rework hell like Astrologian is. And then Viper, everybody's gonna say the same things they said about Summoner, but later, and it's, oh, this class is too fucking easy. It's all the same, all the buttons, there's no buttons to hit. They all just morph into different buttons. What's the point? And like, where do you think the community is going to end up purely on what we've seen about these two classes?
I think Viper is going to end up the same way as Reaper after Endwalker, where a lot of excitement in the beginning, and then we're going to get to a point where, a couple patches in, everyone's going to be like, cool, yeah, it's a melee DPS.
Sure.
It's fine. I think everyone's going to be very lukewarm about it. I think Picto is also going to be, from what I've looked into, Picto has a lot more room for experimentation because Vipers, it's very much like you hit this button and then do you need to keep your debuff on or do you need to buff yourself, and then you just
Right.
go down one of two paths and like nothing ever changes, and then occasionally enter your burst phase and then you do a bunch of stuff and that's it. With Picto, there's so many different things of your standard casting combo, and then when you switch between using the white magic and the black magic and the painting and using the canvases, like there's a lot of different things there, and there's a lot of theory crafting that's available. Because with Viper, again, you can't be like, all right, I know the boss is going to jump away at 48 seconds. You follow your rotation and you may make a slight adjustment based on that. With Picto, there's setup to use other stronger spells with
Right.
longer cast times or maybe shorter cast times. There's so many more nuance. You can be like, all right, well, I know that the boss is going to be gone in 48 seconds. Instead of using my basic combo, I'm going to use something completely different. Like, obviously, the theory crafters will find the optimal rotation for everyone, but it's
And
at least
that's
more interesting
and
of
that's
what's
why
up.
I think that Picto is going to be Astrologian, but a DPS, right? And I don't mean the changes that are coming with Astrologian now. I mean Astrologian in like Shadowbringers, where every time you did a spell, every time you did anything, you were thinking, okay, now I draw a card. Cool. Do I have to burn this card or do I have to play this card? Or can I use it for something else? Great. Which player do I put it on now? What am I thinking? What am I doing? What does the team need? And I think Picto's leaning that way because it's like, do I need a big buff spell? Do I need an AoE? Do I need the hammer thing? Do I need the Moogle wings? Like what part of this do I need now?
I
And it's
think,
the three canvases and three options and three thoughts depending on the necessity of the situation. But with no, I would almost say with no RNG from what I understand, compared to old Astra, which was
sure.
all RNG.
I think it's a bit more. I think it is more a combination of black mage of being like, okay, do I need to pop like triple cast because I need to move, or can I stand here and drop ley lines and just cast for 20 seconds? Combined with kind of an oversimplification, but combined with like the decision making of like summoner, like how we've talked about before, of like,
Yeah.
oh, I like I'm not gonna be able to get these casts off with Ifrit. I think I'll summon Ifrit now because later I'm gonna need to be moving, so I'll summon Titan for later. Things like that of where you need to plan ahead to make sure
So
that you can do damage.
I agree with you. And what's funny is that we can make a lot of comparisons to Picto based on the 3 current casters we have. Like,
Except
there's
for
a
Red Mage.
no, I'm gonna hold off on that. So you have do you need, if you're balancing your white magic and your black magic,
You're not no.
right? But if you have to make the decision on which one you're casting now. Did you move? How are you going to do that? Is there RNG involved for which one you may want to use? Like, I haven't seen all that much on Picto. I've seen them paint pretty pictures, and I'm like, cool, that's gonna be a fun class to play. That's about as far as I got. I know that there is like the white and black, and you flip the palette and do the thing, and that's the system. But it kind of leans me, like, just from the little that I've seen, it leads me into, the balancing of the mana isn't the same with the black and the white for Picto, but the 2 sides of your rotation being parallels
Oh,
of each other
sure.
for different reasons
Sure.
is where I'm going with that.
I get that.
But like you said, there's the decision making of summoner. Am I going to need to move? Am I going to need to do something big? Does the party need a buff?
Yeah.
And also like black mage. Like, it's kind of like we're getting this pinnacle of what a caster is with Picto. I would almost say kind of like we
Very
got with
interesting.
Sage
Yeah.
for healers, because they, like, again, Astro was that pinnacle. You had the neutral, or you had the 2. What was it, the day and night version of Astro?
Oh,
Where you
like
could become a old Astro,
old Astro. Got it.
where you could be a healer, or you could be like a throughput healer
Shield
or a
healer.
shield healer based on the other healer that was there. They wanted something to balance it out. They wanted something with a little bit more play and button pressing, like Astro had. So you got Eucrasia with options to do, am I going to instant cast a smaller heal with a bigger shield, or am I going to put out, just a bigger heal? What are my options? I don't have Benny, but I have options like Benny. I don't have Lilies, but I have options exactly like Lilies. So, like, it felt like the last couple classes that they have put out have been like pinnacle classes for their type. I don't think we've gotten that for tanks yet. I don't think we've gotten that for range physical yet.
I also hope we don't. I think
I agree with you. I hope we don't.
yeah, like I don't think that like job homogenization is as like bad as everyone's kind of making it out to be. But I would like to see more. I honestly like where tanks are at right now. I think you have like the Paladin Gunbreaker basically kept being similar in like rotation style and like play
Yeah,
style.
they had long
Warrior and
rotations.
Dark Knight being similar, like yeah.
Warrior's
And like
easier health Dark Knight, where Dark Knight is harder in air quotes, but harder shield based, higher DPS warrior. Like, they are very similar, and it's funny that you say that, because those are the 2 I play, and you are very much a Paladin Gunbreaker guy, right?
Yeah, because I think of it as like cooldown burst window. They're both cooldown burst windows, but like with Warrior and Dark Knight, you have like Delirium and like inner release.
Yes.
Yeah. Which are like what 60-second cooldowns, I think.
Yep.
90 seconds, 60 seconds. And it gives you the ability to use hard hitting moves.
Right.
Versus, but that's all it does. Versus,
yeah, it gives you the crit and the direct hit, I think, is what the 2
for
are.
those 3 hits or whatever it is. Well, actually, Dark Knight doesn't get that, which I'm like, why? But then Pally and Gunbreaker, instead of a 60-second cooldown, that's just a straight up damage buff for everything that they do. Just like you do 10,
flat
15%
damage
more
buff
damage.
with
So then it's just like put every skill you have into this next like
specifically
15
with those
seconds
2 though. They both, not only is it like, it's very funny that you say it's like that, because if you set up a Warrior's bars and a Dark Knight bars, you can set them up almost identically.
Yeah.
Paladin and Gunbreaker you can do the same for, and it's because they both have those those switch off buttons as their bursty spenders. Like Gunbreaker has I forget what it's called, but it's like gut shot or something like that, and then you hit that, and then you hit the OGCD in the middle of it that it unlocks, and then you hit the next one, and then you hit the OGCD in the middle of that one that it unlocks, and you just bounce back and forth. Paladin's kind of got that same vibe now with the changes that they made at the beginning of Endwalker, and I guess some of the changes that they made at the end of Endwalker too.
Oh,
Was that just a shield
not really.
thing?
Most of Paladin's rotation is, there's only really like 4 OGCDs in a Paladin's burst rotation versus the lots in Gunbreakers.
Yeah, because there's
It's a lot more than 4.
3,
There's 3 in the
4,
Gnashing Fan combo.
5, 6. There's 6 to 8.
Yeah, I think there's at least 7. Because there's 2 dots, 3 for the Gnashing Fang combo, and then 1 for and then 2 charges of your Gap Closer, which does damage, so you have to put that in there too.
Oh,
And every 2 minutes you get the double down.
can I tell you another theory of classes, by the way, that I have had recently? They release classes and they know exactly what they're doing. What I mean by that is the classes themselves. So, we're going to take a trip back. We're going to go back to Stormblood specifically. We could probably go back to Heaven's Ward, but we're going to go back to Stormblood. We got 2 classes in Stormblood, Samurai and Red Mage. We got 2 classes in Shadowbringers, Gunbreaker and Dancer. We got 2 classes in Endwalker, being Sage and Reaper. Of those 6 classes, 3 of them mattered for some point of the expansion they were in, and 3 of them tied into the expansion after it. This is my called shot. Samurai mattered. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Samurai mattered for Stormblood. It was the very Japanese inspired. It was a lot of the characters were samurais. It was kind of the whole theme. But then we got Red Mage, and Red Mage is the fight between darkness and light. It is the combination of Black Mage and hold on. I'm serious. Okay. Yeah, Black Mage and White Mage, right? It's the fight between darkness and light. Then we got Gunbreaker, which ties into Boja at the end of Shadowbringers.
Right.
And we got Dancer, which is based on Thavnarian dancers. Then we got Reaper and Sage. Reaper tied into Xenos and the .x content of the Dark of the Void. And Sage is upgraded Magitech fucking weapons. Fight me.
Charlian, but sure.
Sure, whatever. Yeah. But it's look at it, and then look at the fancy magic tech bullshit that we're seeing and getting in Solution 9. Crazy glowy RGB bullshit.
Yeah.
Which one of the new ones matters for this expansion, and which one is a hint of the next expansion? Pictomancer or Viper?
Oh, I see what you're trying to say.
Because you can see the ties I'm making, right? I'm not fucking crazy. There are very clear points they're making.
It's a stretch. It's a
fuck you
for sure.
It's so not. It's right there.
It's a big stretch. But like this is one of those things where like I don't know how we could even get like.
Start here. Do you think that Pictomancer or Viper is going to be the class that matters, the class that we're getting something to dealing with in Dawntrail. Like, which one fits the theme and which one doesn't?
I mean, Viper fits the theme more of Dawntrail.
Okay. I do not disagree with you. Because every time we've had... Well, that's not true. Because I think Endwalker broke this only slightly for me. So I would say every time we've had a main character switch jobs to a new job, that is the one that's mattered for the current expansion. But that's not true because Alice didn't switch until later, I believe, but she became a red mage. And
I was switched in Heaven's Word post content.
to red mage?
Technically, like kind of, but like not actually because the job wasn't released yet, but then it
Right,
came out.
okay.
And then she switched in Stormblood.
Gotcha. And then Alphino switched to Sage, and so did Xenos. But Xenos is the Reaper that mattered, right? That is what mattered to the content. But Alphino was a Sage. So I was going to point out
matters to the content.
No, and I'm
That's what I
saying
mean.
that, but I mean like if I'm making the connection that a job matters for one of the jobs matter for the expansion it's released in, one matters for the next expansion. Pictomancer is the only one that we've gotten a character switch to. It's Krile. We don't have anybody who has switched to Reaper that we've met yet, or not Reaper, Viper that we've met yet.
That's true. I guess the Warrior of Light, but not
Right. None of the NPC characters. So you could be right. We could run into a shit ton of Vipers over there, but are we going to run into more Pictomancers? Because I still don't think we've seen many, if any, other sages besides the ones we fought with in the Sage story quest.
Yeah. And Alphino.
So do you understand my meth head theory, and do you see that it's real? You see the connections I'm making, because it's true.
I get where you're coming from.
There's one that matters to the expansion it's released in, and there's one that shows the path forward.
I mean, that's very possible. I mean, here's the thing. Like, with how people guess the second class announcement based on Yoshi P's shirts at the Fan Fest, the kind of mental gymnastics that goes in that process, I'm like, all right, you know what? Anything's possible. So, I'll give it to you.
Thank you. I'll accept it wholeheartedly. Joe, we've been going for about a half hour, or an hour and a half now, not a half hour. Jesus. Is there any other points that you want to touch on for your thoughts on Dawntrail? Any called shots you want to make publish before we play it, and you can look back fondly at how dumb we both were?
I think there will be
a character death.
You know what? Here's my called shot.
Okay.
Deep shot in the dark.
Yep.
My guess is that going through the Golden City portal, we end up, and Heritage Found is a reflection of the existing places that we've, like, in that continent. But in, like, a different, not like a reflection of, like, Arshard in the first, but, like, literally, like, here's Tuliol, but, like, purple and messed up, and, like, rebuilt as something else. And here's the other town, but in purple land. Like a straight up mirror.
Okay.
Like an alternate version mirror, basically.
So okay, if I could take all of my ramblings, right, that I've done throughout this conversation and put them together in one tight package, similar called shot style. The woman, the Enigmatic Maiden,
Oriange's mom.
Yep. Oriange's mom is somehow related to the ancients, and everything having to do with I'm gonna cheat. Everything having to do with the purplish, blackish super society technology bullshit is all an offshoot because of a calamity. And that's why it's called Solution 9, because it was the 9th attempt to survive something. I don't know what it was. It could have been the lightning storm from one calamity. It could have been multiple calamities. It was a solution to a problem, and it was the 9th attempt to do so. But it's ancient related.
I like that.
But then again, we've seen a bunch of weird shit come out of fucking localized Japanese content over the years. It could be we just thought it sounded cool, and I don't think Koji Fox would do that or anybody else on the localization team, but
we're gonna find out that solution means like a liquid
solution.
Like we actually get really mini, and this lives inside of a water bottle.
Haven't we already done that? Isn't that what Amarat was? Literally inside of the ocean.
Oh, fair. Okay, yeah. Fair. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's why Lalafels are small. That's why they were running through the portal. They're normal size there.
Ooh, it's the Lalafell expansion. It's the Lalafell expansion. It's happening.
God, please no. Please no. Please, let me get through Marasidia before we go crazy and start having, like, Lalafell expansions. I don't want it.
They were joking about female Hrothgar. Everyone's gonna log in on Friday, and we're all gonna be automatically Fantasia to Lalafell.
They're gonna Fantasia as all the female Hrothgar because nobody would stop bitching about it, and then that's why they're giving us the free Fantasia, is so we can go and just make our characters again. Like, you can't bitch how your character looks after the fucking change if you have no idea what your character looked like before it. You were playing a female Hrothgar the whole time. All right, Joe. Thank you so much for talking. I'm sure that the stream and myself and anybody else on YouTube will see more of you in the future, especially as we go through Dawntrail and everything that it's got. Any other final remarks for yourself? Anything to plug? No?
It's going to be great. I have nothing to plug.
Yeah, I figured as much. All right, buddy. I am also incredibly looking forward to it. Thank you for spending the last hour and a half with me. Video people on YouTube, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.